The park bench was cold beneath her as Brianna Jones unwrapped her dinner, a gas station sandwich and an apple she'd been saving since breakfast. That's when she noticed the boy. He sat 3 benches down, perfectly still, clutching a worn teddy bear. Maybe 7 years old, with dark hair falling into his eyes. He'd been there when her shift started 6 hours ago. Still there now. Brie's mother's voice echoed, "A child alone is every woman's responsibility." She walked over, her stained server's uniform catching the fading light. "Hey, sweetheart. Are you waiting for someone?" The boy looked up with eyes too old for his face and nodded. "Must be a long wait." She sat down. "Are you hungry?" She split her sandwich in half and held it out. The boy took it with both hands, like it was something precious. They ate in comfortable silence as the sun dipped lower. Joggers passed. A woman with a stroller. An old man with his dog. None of them seemed to see the boy at all. "I wish you were my mommy," Seo-jin said suddenly, his voice small but fierce. He pulled a red string bracelet from his pocket. "This is a promise. In my family, promises are everything." Brie's heart twisted. She let him tie it around her wrist. "I promise to be your friend. How's that?" Seo-jin's smile could have lit the darkening park. An hour later, 6 black Genesis sedans rolled down her narrow street in perfect formation, stopping in front of her building like a presidential motorcade. Men emerged, soldiers in tailored suits, moving with military precision. The center door opened. Kwan-woo Lee stepped out, and every person on the street froze. His suit absorbed light. His face was carved stone, beautiful and terrifying. This was a man who didn't need to announce power, it radiated from him. His eyes locked on Brie. She couldn't move as he walked toward her with the certainty of someone never told no. He stopped close enough that she could see gold flecks in his dark eyes. His gaze dropped to her wrist. To the red bracelet. "My son gave you that." Brie's voice came out small. "The boy in the park. Is he okay?" "He's safe. Because of you." Kwan-woo's jaw tightened. "For 3 months, my son has been missing. 47 men searched this city. And a waitress on her dinner break succeeds where they all failed. I didn't know. You fed him. You spoke to him with kindness." His eyes hadn't left the bracelet. "In my world, Miss Jones, when someone saves what is most precious to you, a debt is created. A blood debt. I don't want anything. What you want is irrelevant." He held out a black business card with silver lettering, Kwan-woo Lee, Chairman, Red Dragon Enterprises. Red Dragon. That Red Dragon. The syndicate even whispered about criminals. "I expect you tomorrow evening. 7 o'clock. My son would like to thank you properly." His voice allowed no argument. "And we have much to discuss about the nature of promises." "What if I don't come?" Kwan-woo paused, his back already turning. "You will come, Miss Jones. Because you're not the kind of woman who breaks her word to a child." The sedans pulled away, leaving Brie alone with a business card, a bracelet, and the terrifying knowledge that her life had just changed forever. If you're already hooked, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. And drop a comment telling me, would you have shared your sandwich with a stranger's child? The address led to a building that didn't belong in this world. 40 stories of black glass and steel, with a lobby so white it hurt to look at. Men in suits stood at every corner, speaking into earpieces. Brie's sneakers squeaked against the marble floor. An elevator took her up so fast her stomach dropped. The doors opened to a hallway with one door at the end. It was already open. Kwan-woo sat behind a desk the size of her entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the city spread out below like a toy set. He didn't look up when she entered. "Sit." Brie sat in the chair across from him. It was lower than his, making her feel like a child called to the principal's office. "Tell me about yourself, Miss Jones." He finally looked at her. "Everything. I'm a waitress. I work double shifts at Marco's downtown. I send money home to my family in Atlanta every month. That's it." "Where did you meet my son before yesterday?" "I didn't. I never saw him before in the park." "Who sent you?" "Nobody sent me. I was eating my dinner and saw a kid alone. For 3 months, professionals couldn't find him." Kwan-woo's voice went cold. "Then you appear. You just happened to sit near him. You just happened to offer food. You just happened to gain his trust in 1 hour. Brie's hand shook. I didn't know who he was. Everyone wants something, Miss Jones. Money? Protection? A green card? He leaned forward. What's your angle? I don't have an angle. He was a lonely kid, and I have a heart. That's it. The room went silent. Kwan-woo stared at her like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. Finally, he pressed a button on his desk. Bring him in. The door opened. Seo-jun ran inside and threw his arms around Brie's neck. You came, he whispered. You kept your promise. Brie's shift at Marco's started like any other Tuesday. The lunch rush hit hard, businessmen wanting their food fast, tourists asking a million questions, her manager yelling from the kitchen. She was refilling coffee when she felt something heavy in her apron pocket. Something that wasn't there before. Her hand closed around cold metal. In the bathroom, she pulled it out. A credit card. Solid platinum, heavier than normal cards. Her name was embossed across the front, Brianna Jones. No credit limit listed. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number, for necessities. Use it. Another text, my son asked why you wear shoes with holes. I explained you work hard. He cried. Fix it. Brie stared at the card. This was crazy. She couldn't accept this. She typed back, I can't take this. The reply came instantly, you promised to be his friend. Friends don't make children worry. Buy proper shoes. She tried again, this is too much. The card has no limit. Whatever you need. This is not a discussion. Brie's manager banged on the bathroom door. Jones. Table 5 is waiting. She shoved the card deep into her pocket and went back to work. But it sat there all day, heavy as a stone. Heavy as a promise she didn't remember making. After her shift, she walked past the shoe store she usually avoided. The nice one with the leather boots in the window. The ones that cost 2 weeks of tips. She kept walking. At home, another text arrived, my son asked if you bought shoes. I don't lie to him. Go shopping tomorrow or I'll send someone to bring you. Brie looked at her reflection in her cracked mirror. At her tired eyes and her falling apart sneakers. What had she gotten herself into? The black sedan arrived at her apartment at exactly 6 p.m. No warning. Just 3 sharp knocks on her door. Mr. Lee requests your presence, the driver said. Not asked. Requested. 20 minutes later, Brie sat across from Kwan-woo in a private restaurant. Empty except for guards at every exit. He poured tea like they were old friends. You didn't use the card, he said. I don't need charity. It's not charity. It's an obligation. He set down the teapot. Do you understand what you did in that park? I shared my sandwich. You saved my son's life. Kwan-woo's voice went quiet. 3 months ago, someone tried to kill me. They took Seo-jun instead. Held him in a basement. Starved him. Broke his spirit. His hand tightened around his cup. He escaped 2 weeks ago. Been hiding ever since. Too scared to trust anyone. Until you. Brie's throat closed. That little boy. You gave him food. Kindness. Safety. In my world, that creates a blood debt. The highest debt. Kwan-woo looked at her directly. I owe you a life, Miss Jones. My son's life. That debt can never be repaid. Only honored. I don't want anything from you. That's irrelevant. The debt exists whether you accept it or not. He leaned forward. My enemies know about you now. They saw you with Seo-jun. They know he trusts you. That makes you valuable. That makes you a target. Fear crawled up Brie's spine. So what are you saying? I'm saying you can never go back to your old life. It's not safe anymore. His eyes were dark, final. You're under my protection now. Permanently. You belong to the Red Dragon family. I didn't ask for this. Neither did my son. Yet here we are. Kwan-woo stood. Welcome to your new life, Miss Jones. Seo-jun sat on the floor of Kwan-woo's office, drawing with crayons. Brie had been summoned again, but this time the boy was there, and everything felt less scary. Will you color with me? Seo Jun held up a picture of a park. A bench. Two people sitting together. Brie sat down beside him. That's a pretty picture. It's us. From when we met. He picked a yellow crayon for the sun. That was the first time I felt safe in a long time. Kwanwoo watched from his desk, silent as a shadow. Seo Jun, Brie said gently. Can I ask you something? Why were you alone in that park? The boy's hand stopped moving. His little shoulders got tight. You don't have to tell me if. I ran away from the bad men. His voice got small. They kept me in a dark room. No windows. They gave me food sometimes, but it was cold. And they said my daddy didn't want me anymore. That's why he wasn't coming. Brie's heart cracked. She looked at Kwanwoo. His face was stone, but his hands were fists. I didn't believe them, Seo Jun continued. But I got scared anyway. So when they left the door open one time, I ran. I ran and ran until I found the park. He looked up at Brie with wet eyes. I waited there every day. I thought if I waited long enough, someone kind would find me. Someone who would help. And then I found you, Brie whispered. No. Seo Jun shook his head. You were the first person who saw me. Everyone else walked past like I was invisible. But you stopped. You shared your food even though you were hungry too. I could tell. He hugged her tight. That's when I knew, he whispered against her shoulder. I knew you were supposed to be my mommy. Brie arrived for her morning shift to find the parking lot full of black cars. Her stomach dropped. Inside Marco's, Kwanwoo sat at the counter drinking coffee like he owned the place. Her manager, Tony, stood in the corner, face pale and sweating. What's going on? Brie asked. Miss Jones. Kwanwoo set down his cup. How long have you worked here? 3 years. Why? And in those 3 years, how many times has your manager screamed at you? Called you names? Shorted your paycheck? Tony's face went red. Now wait just a minute. I wasn't speaking to you. Kwanwoo didn't even look at him. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Brie's hand shook. It's fine. It's just how restaurants are. No. It's not. Kwanwoo pulled out papers from his briefcase. As of 1 hour ago, I own this establishment. The previous owner was very motivated to sell. He slid the papers across the counter. Your former manager is terminated. Effective immediately. You can't do this. Tony shouted. I'll sue. I'll. 2 guards stepped forward. Tony went quiet. You have 5 minutes to collect your things, Kwanwoo said calmly. If you're still here in 6 minutes, you'll be removed less pleasantly. Tony grabbed his jacket and ran out the door. The restaurant went silent. The other servers stared with wide eyes. Kwanwoo held out a key ring. The restaurant is yours now, Miss Jones. You're the new owner and manager. Your staff will receive proper wages, benefits, and respect. Any questions? Brie stared at the keys like they were a snake. I don't know how to run a restaurant. You'll learn. I've arranged for consultants. He stood to leave. My son deserves a mother who holds her head high. Not one who gets screamed at for a living. The dress arrived at noon. Black silk that probably cost more than her car. A note, gala tonight. 7 p.m. Non-negotiable. Brie had never been to a gala. Didn't even know what one was until she Googled it. The ballroom looked like something from a movie. Crystal chandeliers. Women in jewelry that could buy houses. Men in tuxedos worth thousands. Brie felt like a fraud. Then Kwanwoo entered, and the entire room shifted. He didn't announce himself. Didn't make noise. But every conversation paused. Every head turned. It was like watching a king walk into his throne room. He moved through the crowd, and people parted like water. A businessman bowed slightly as he passed. A woman in diamonds smiled too brightly, desperate for his attention. He ignored them all. His eyes found Brie across the room. He walked straight to her, and suddenly she couldn't breathe. You came, he said simply. You said it was non-negotiable. I also say many things Seo-jin ignores. The corner of his mouth almost smiled. Walk with me. He offered his arm. Brie took it, feeling every eye in the room follow them. They moved through the gala, and Brie watched something incredible happen. A senator stopped talking mid-sentence when Kwon Woo glanced his way. A CEO practically tripped over himself to shake Kwon Woo's hand. A woman who looked like royalty actually curtsied. Kwon Woo never raised his voice. Never made demands. He simply existed, and the world bent around him. You're staring, he said quietly. I'm trying to understand how you do that. Do what? Make everyone scared without saying a word. Kwon Woo stopped walking. He looked at her with something like surprise. You're not scared of me. Should I be? Everyone else is. His eyes searched her face. Why aren't you? Because, Brie said softly, I've seen you with your son. Brie left the restaurant late, counting tips in her head. Old habits died hard, even though she technically owned the place now. The street was empty. Too empty for 11 p.m. on a Thursday. Her apartment was 6 blocks away. She'd walked this route 1,000 times. But tonight, something felt wrong. Footsteps echoed behind her. Matching her pace. She walked faster. The footsteps walked faster. Her heart hammered. She turned down the alley she always used as a shortcut. Stupid. She realized it too late. A man stepped out from the shadows ahead, blocking her path. Tall. Tattooed neck. Smile like a knife. Brianna Jones. His accent was thick. Russian, maybe. The woman who caught the dragon's attention. Brie spun around. 2 more men stood behind her, cutting off escape. I don't want trouble, she said, voice shaking. Too late for that. The man pulled out his phone, snapped her picture. My boss wants to know everything about Kwon Woo Lee's new weakness. And you, pretty lady, are very weak. He stepped closer. Brie pressed against the brick wall. Tell us where the boy lives. Tell us the security codes. Tell us how to reach the dragon when he's vulnerable. I don't know anything. A hand grabbed her throat. Not hard enough to choke, but enough to terrify. You have 3 seconds to start talking, or... Gunshots exploded through the alley. The man dropped, screaming, clutching his leg. His friends scattered like roaches. Brie looked up. 3 men in black suits stood at the alley entrance, guns drawn. Kwon Woo's guards. One spoke into his earpiece, target secured. She's safe. Another helped Brie to her feet. Mr. Lee thought you might need an escort home. Brie's legs gave out. Strong hands caught her. How did you know? She whispered. Mr. Lee always knows. Seo-jin sat at the massive dining table in Kwon Woo's penthouse, staring at his breakfast. A chef had prepared it. A servant had placed it perfectly. But the boy just poked at his eggs with a fork. What's wrong, sweetheart? Brie asked. I want to make my own food, Seo-jin said quietly. Like normal kids. The guards standing by the door exchanged glances. One spoke into his earpiece, probably reporting this strange request. Brie smiled. Then let's go make some. She led Seo-jin to the enormous kitchen. The chef looked horrified when they walked in. Miss Jones, I can prepare anything the young master desires. We're good, thanks. Brie rolled up her sleeves. Come on, Seo-jin ever made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? His eyes went wide. I can do that? Baby, you can do anything. She pulled out bread, peanut butter, and jelly. First, wash your hands. They stood at the counter together. Brie showed him how to spread the peanut butter evenly, how much jelly to use, how to cut it diagonal because it tastes better that way. Seo-jin's tongue stuck out in concentration. His hands shook a little, but he did it himself. I made it. He held up the sandwich like a trophy. The guards stared like they'd witnessed a miracle. The chef looked personally offended. Now eat it, Brie said. Food tastes better when you make it yourself. Seo-jin took a huge bite. Jelly dripped down his chin. He laughed, a real, pure, 7-year-old laugh. Kwon Woo appeared in the doorway. Everyone went still. He looked at his son's jelly-covered face. At the messy counter. At Brie teaching his child something no one else thought to teach. Again, Seo-jun said, bouncing. Can we make another one? Kwon-woo's expression softened. Yes. Make as many as you want. Min-jun had been Kwon-woo's right hand for 15 years. Silent, loyal, deadly. He never spoke unless necessary. So when he cornered Brie in the hallway outside Seo-jun's playroom, she knew something was wrong. We need to talk, he said quietly. Alone. He led her to an empty office and closed the door. His face was stone, but his eyes held something like concern. You seem like a good person, Miss Jones. Thank you? That's why I'm telling you this. Min-jun crossed his arms. Leave. Tonight. Take the money Mr. Lee gave you and disappear. Change your name. Move to another country. Never look back. Brie's stomach dropped. What? Why? Because you've become the dragon's weakness. And in our world, weaknesses get killed. He stepped closer. 5 families are watching you right now. The Russians who attacked you in the alley? That was just the beginning. They're studying you. Learning your patterns. Waiting for the perfect moment. Kwon-woo has guards on me. Guards can be bought. Guards can be distracted. Guards can fail. Min-jun's voice went hard. I've seen this happen before. Mr. Lee's wife. Seo-jun's mother. She was kind like you. Soft. Didn't understand our world. Brie's throat went dry. What happened to her? She's dead. Killed because someone wanted to hurt Mr. Lee. Min-jun's jaw tightened. He couldn't save her. The guilt nearly destroyed him. If something happens to you, if Seo-jun loses another person he loves, it will break them both. I can't just leave. You have to. For their sake. He handed her a passport and a plane ticket. There's a flight to Atlanta at midnight. Be on it. Seo-jun will think I abandoned him. Better he thinks that than attend your funeral. Brie couldn't sleep. Min-jun's warning played on repeat in her head. The passport and ticket sat on her nightstand like accusations. At 2 a.m., she went downstairs for water. Found Kwon-woo standing at the floor-to-ceiling windows, staring at the city below. Still in his suit. Always in his suit. Do you ever sleep? She asked. He didn't turn around. Sleep is a luxury I can't afford. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. She walked over, stood beside him. You know what my mama used to say? Baby, if you don't rest, you'll break. And broken people can't protect nobody. Your mother sounds wise. She was. Brie looked at his reflection in the glass. She also said that men who forget how to smile forget how to live. I smile. No, you don't. You do this thing with your mouth that looks scary, not happy. She demonstrated, pulling her lips tight without showing teeth. Kwon-woo's eyebrow raised slightly. I don't look like that. You absolutely do. Seo-jun does it too when he's trying to be like you. She imitated it again, adding a stiff nod. Very powerful. Much intimidating. The corner of his mouth twitched. Oh my god, was that almost a smile? Brie gasped dramatically. Did the dragon just crack? I don't crack. You're cracking right now. I can see it. She poked his arm. Come on. Just one real smile. For me. I'll even take a half smile. This is ridiculous. This is necessary. You're wound tighter than my grandma's church hat. She made the face again, even more exaggerated. And then it happened. Kwon-woo laughed. Actually, laughed. Deep and real and completely unexpected. His whole face changed. The ice melted. For 1 second, he looked almost human. There it is, Brie whispered. That's who you really are. The alarm woke Brie at 3 a.m. Not a fire alarm, something worse. A sharp, piercing sound that meant danger. She ran to Seo-jun's room in her pajamas. Found him sitting up in bed, teddy bear clutched tight, eyes wide with terror. It's okay, baby. Come here. She scooped him up just as gunshots echoed downstairs. Real gunshots. Not in movies. In this house. Seojun started crying. The bad men found me again. No. No, I won't let them. Brie's hands shook as she carried him to his closet. There was a panic room behind the back wall, Kwanwoo had shown her last week, just in case. She pressed the hidden button. The wall slid open. More gunshots. Closer now. Shouting in Korean. A guard screaming. Brie shoved Seojun inside the small room. Stay here. Don't make a sound. Don't open this door for anyone except me or your daddy. You understand? Don't leave me. I have to lock it from the outside. That's how it works. She kissed his forehead. I promise I'll come back. You promised before, Seojun sobbed. In the park. You kept that promise. And I'll keep this one too. She closed the door. Heard it lock with a heavy click. Footsteps in the hallway. Running. Fast. Brie spun around just as a man in black burst into the room. Masked. Gun raised. He looked at her. Then in the closet. Where is the boy? His English was broken but clear. Brie stepped in front of the closet. Her whole body shook. There's no one here. He pointed the gun at her face. Move. No. The man's finger touched the trigger. A single gunshot rang out. The assassin dropped. Kwanwoo stood in the doorway, gun smoking, eyes black with rage. Kwanwoo collapsed against the doorframe. That's when Brie saw the blood spreading across his white shirt. You're shot. It's nothing. He tried to stand straight and failed. Where's Seojun? Safe. In the panic room. Brie ran to him, caught him before he fell. You need a doctor. No hospitals. Too exposed. His weight pressed against her. My medical team is coming. 20 minutes. You don't have 20 minutes. Blood dripped onto the carpet. So much blood. She helped him to Seojun's bed. His face had gone pale, lips almost gray. First aid kit. Bathroom. His words came slower. Under the sink. Brie found it, more like a military field kit than a home first aid box. She'd seen her uncle patched up after bar fights back home. This was worse, but the basics were the same. Take off your shirt. Kwanwoo tried. His hands shook too badly. Brie unbuttoned it herself, peeled away the bloody fabric. The bullet had gone through his shoulder. Clean through, at least. No bullet to dig out. This is going to hurt, she warned. I've had worse. She pressed gauze against the wound, hard. He didn't make a sound, but his jaw went tight as steel. Why did you do it? She asked quietly, wrapping bandages. You could have let him shoot me. Would have solved your problem. What problem? Minjun told me. I'm your weakness. I make you vulnerable. Kwanwoo's eyes opened. Even in pain, his stare was intense. Minjun is fired. He was trying to protect you. You are not a weakness. His hand caught hers, bloody and strong. You're the only thing keeping me human. That's not a weakness. That's the only reason I'm still alive. The call came at noon. Brie's phone, a number she didn't recognize. Miss Jones? A woman's voice, panicked. This is Metro Hospital. Your mother was in a car accident. She's asking for you. You need to come now. Brie's blood turned to ice. My mother? Is she okay? She's stable but asking for you. Please hurry. The phone went dead. Brie ran to find Kwanwoo. He was in a meeting, arm in a sling from last night. I have to go. My mom, she's in the hospital. Which hospital? Metro. They said she was in an accident. Kwanwoo's face changed. You're not going anywhere. She's my mother. He grabbed his phone, made a call. Spoke rapid Korean. Waited. His expression went dark. There's no patient by your mother's name at Metro Hospital. His voice went cold. When did you last speak to her? This morning. She was fine. She was at home in Atlanta. Call her. Now. Brie's hand shook as she dialed. It rang twice. Baby girl. I was just thinking about you. Relief flooded through her. Mom, you're okay. Of course I'm okay. Why wouldn't I be? Brie's stomach dropped. Someone called. Said you were in an accident. The line went silent. Then her mother's voice, sharp with fear, baby, where are you right now? At home. With Seo Jun. Seo Jun? Kwon Woo's head snapped up. Where is he? Brie spun around. The playroom door was open. Empty. A guard ran in, bleeding from his head. Sir, they took him, said Miss Jones called, said there was an emergency. On the floor, a white card with red writing, you took something from us. Now we take something from you. Come alone, or the boy dies. Brie read the address on the card. An abandoned warehouse by the docks. Of course it was. You're not going, Kwon Woo said. His good hand gripped her arm. They have Seo Jun. It's a trap. They want both of you. I don't care. Brie pulled free. That little boy is terrified right now. He thinks I abandoned him again. I won't let him believe that. Brie. You can follow me. Bring your army. But I'm going. She grabbed her jacket. With or without your permission. Kwon Woo stared at her. Something shifted in his eyes. 10 minutes. I need 10 minutes to position my men. You have 5. The warehouse smelled like rust and seawater. Brie walked in alone, heart hammering so loud she could barely hear her own footsteps. Seo Jun sat in a chair in the center of the empty space, hands tied, tears streaming down his face. 3 men surrounded him. The one in front wore a white suit. White Tiger Clan. Brie. Seo Jun screamed. I'm here, baby. It's okay. How touching. The man in white smiled. The waitress plays the hero. Let him go. You wanted me. Here I am. Oh, we want both of you. He snapped his fingers. 2 men grabbed Brie from behind. She fought, but they were too strong. They zip-tied her hands, shoved her into a chair next to Seo Jun. Kwon Woo Lee thinks he owns the city, White Tiger said. Time to teach him what happens when you disrespect the old families. He pulled out a phone, took a picture of them tied up. Sent it. Now we wait for the dragon to come crawling. He smiled at Brie. And when he does, we'll kill all 3 of you together. One happy family reunion. White Tiger circled them like a shark. His men checked their guns, ready for Kwon Woo's arrival. Seo Jun's crying had gone quiet. The dangerous kind of quiet. The kind that meant a child's spirit was breaking. Stop crying, boy, White Tiger snapped. You're embarrassing yourself. He's 7 years old, Brie said. He's Lee's son. He should act like it. He's a child who's been kidnapped twice in 4 months. How exactly should he act? White Tiger's eyes narrowed. Careful, waitress. Your mouth might hurt. My mouth? Brie laughed, sharp and angry. You're threatening a woman with tied hands. Real brave. Brie, don't, Seo Jun whispered. No, baby. I'm done being quiet. She looked straight at White Tiger. You want to scare Kwon Woo? Fine. Scare him. But you leave this boy alone. White Tiger stepped closer. Or what? Or you'll answer me. Brie's voice came from somewhere deep, somewhere her mother had taught her. The voice that didn't accept disrespect. I grew up with 6 brothers and a daddy who worked double shifts. I've stared down men twice your size who thought they could push me around. You don't scare me. I should kill you right now. Then do it. But you touch one hair on Seo Jun's head, and I promise you, Brie leaned forward, eyes blazing, Kwon Woo will just kill you. He'll erase your entire family from history. Every cousin. Every friend. Every person who ever said your name. And it will be because of what you did to his son. The room went silent. White Tiger's hand twitched toward his gun. She's right, one of his men said quietly. The dragon doesn't negotiate when it comes to the boy. White Tiger's jaw clenched. He raised his hand to slap Brie. Explosions rocked the warehouse. The doors blew open. Kwon Woo had arrived. Kwon Woo walked through smoke and fire like a demon from hell. His men poured in behind him, 30, 40, maybe more. Guns drawn. Faces hard as stone. White Tiger's men scrambled for cover, but they were already surrounded. Wait, White Tiger raised his hands. Let's talk about this. Quan Wu shot him in the leg. White Tiger screamed, collapsed. You don't talk. Quan Wu's voice was death itself. You don't breathe. You don't exist anymore. He fired again. The other leg. More screaming. Brie had never seen violence like this. Had never seen Quan Wu like this, the mask completely gone, nothing left but raw, brutal rage. Please, mercy, White Tiger begged. Mercy? Quan Wu crouched down, grabbed the man's collar. You took my son. You threatened the woman he stopped. His jaw clenched so tight it looked painful. There is no mercy for you. He stood, gesturing to his men. They dragged White Tiger away, still screaming. Then Quan Wu's eyes found Brie and Seo Jun. The rage disappeared instantly. His hands shook as he cut their zip ties with a knife. Are you hurt? His voice cracked. Did they touch you? We're okay, Brie whispered. Seo Jun threw himself into Quan Wu's arms, sobbing. Daddy, I was so scared. I know. I know. Quan Wu held him like he might disappear. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He looked at Brie over Seo Jun's head. His eyes were wet. You came for him, he said quietly. Walked into a trap. No weapons. No training. Just, came. Of course I did. Brie touched Seo Jun's hair gently. He's my boy too. Something broke in Quan Wu's expression. Something that had been holding together for years finally shattered. I burned down 4 of their buildings to find you, he whispered. I would have burned the whole city. They were halfway to the exit when the back door exploded. More White Tiger clan members. A dozen of them, armed and angry. Backup that nobody expected. Get down. Quan Wu shoved Seo Jun behind a concrete pillar. His men returned fire, but the shootout was too close. Too dangerous. Bullets ricocheted off metal beams. Seo Jun screamed, covering his ears. Quan Wu's shoulder was bleeding again, the bandages soaked red. He was slowing down. Brie saw it in his movements. We're pinned, Minjun shouted over the gunfire. Can't reach the cars. Brie looked around frantically. They were trapped between 2 groups. The main exit blocked. The back exit swarming with enemies. Then she saw it. A side door, half hidden behind old crates. Small. Probably led to an alley. There. She pointed. That door. Could be locked. Or it could be our way out. Brie grabbed Seo Jun's hand. Cover us. She ran before anyone could stop her. Bullets whizzed past. She felt one tear through her jacket sleeve but kept moving. Reached the door. Slammed her body against it. Locked. No, 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 she looked around, grabbed a metal pipe from the floor. Jammed it into the door handle. Twisted with all her strength. The lock broke. The door swung open. Cold night air rushed in. Here. This way, she screamed. Quan Wu's man laid down covering fire. Minjun grabbed Seo Jun, ran for the door. Other guards followed. Quan Wu came last, stumbling. Brie caught his good arm, pulled him through. They spilled into the alley. Black cars screeched up instantly. Go, go, go. Minjun shoved them into a vehicle. They sped away as the warehouse erupted in flames behind them. Seo Jun clung to Brie, still shaking. You saved us. We saved each other, baby. She looked at Quan Wu. That's what families do. 3 days later, Quan Wu called Brie to his office. His arm was properly bandaged now, and the color had returned to his face. But something was different in his eyes. Softer. Sadder. He slid 2 items across his desk. A plane ticket to Atlanta. First class. Open-ended return. And a key. Black metal, heavy, expensive looking. What's this? Brie asked. A choice. Quan Wu stood, walked to the window. The ticket is your freedom. Go home. Back to your family. Your normal life. I'll make sure you're protected from a distance. New identity if you want it. Money to start over. You'll never have to work another double shift again. Brie picked up the ticket. Her mother's face flashed in her mind. Her nephew. Sunday dinners. A life without bullets and blood. And the key? An apartment. 2 floors below mine. His voice was careful, controlled. Your own space. Your own life. But close enough that Seo Jun can see you every day. Close enough that. He stopped. Took a breath. Close enough that you're part of this family. Officially. You're asking me to stay. I'm asking you to choose. He finally turned to face her. I won't trap you here. Won't use Seo Jun as leverage. You've given us more than anyone has a right to ask. If you want to leave, I understand. And if I stay? Then you stay as yourself. Not a servant. Not an employee. His eyes held hers. As someone we can't live without. Brie looked at the ticket. Then at the key. Seo Jun thinks you're leaving, Kwon Woo said quietly. He's been crying for 2 days. Won't eat. Won't sleep. But I told him it's your choice. That real love means letting someone choose freely. What do you want me to do? I want you to be happy. Even if that means losing you. Brie sat in her temporary room, staring at the ticket and the key. 2 different futures. 2 different lives. She thought about Atlanta. Her mama's cooking. Her nephew's laugh. Church on Sundays. A job that didn't involve danger. Men who didn't carry guns. Simple. Safe. Normal. Then she thought about Seo Jun's face when he made his first sandwich. The way he called her name when he had nightmares. How he held her hand like she was the only solid thing in his world. She thought about Kwon Woo. Not the dragon. Not the mob boss. The man who laughed at her terrible impression. Who went pale when she was in danger. Whose hand shook when he cut her free from those zip ties. When did it happen? When did this stop being about survival and start being about more? Her phone buzzed. A text from her mother, baby, whatever you decide, I support you. But make sure you're choosing with your heart, not just your guilt. Brie closed her eyes. Guilt would tell her to stay for Seo Jun, duty would tell her to stay because of the debt. But what did her heart say? She remembered Kwon Woo's voice, you're the only thing keeping me human. She remembered standing between an assassin and Seo Jun's closet, too terrified to move but refusing to step aside. She remembered the way Kwon Woo looked at her in that burning warehouse, like she was air and he'd been drowning. This wasn't a shock. Wasn't guilty. Wasn't trauma bonding. This was real. She picked up her phone, texted Kwon Woo, where's Seo Jun right now? The reply came instantly, playroom. Why? Tell him to come to the lobby. I have something to give back to someone. She grabbed the plane ticket and walked downstairs. Time to make her choice. Seo Jun ran down the hallway so fast he almost tripped. Kwon Woo followed, trying to look calm but failing. Brie stood in the lobby, holding the plane ticket. Seo Jun stopped, his face crumpling. You're leaving. Come here, baby. Brie knelt down to his level. He walked over slowly, like each step hurt. Brie held up the ticket. You see this? He nodded, tears already falling. This was my way home. Back to my old life. She ripped it in half. Then in half again. Let the pieces fall to the marble floor. But I don't want my old life anymore. Seo Jun's eyes went wide. You're staying? I'm staying. She pulled out the key. Because this is my home now. You're my home. Seo Jun threw himself into her arms, sobbing happy tears this time. I love you, Mommy. The word hit Brie like lightning. Mommy. Not Brie. Not Miss Jones. Mommy. I love you too, sweetheart. Her own tears fell freely now. So much. She looked up at Kwon Woo. He stood frozen, his expression completely open for the first time. No mask. No walls. Just a man looking at the 2 people who'd somehow become his entire world. There's room for 3 in my apartment, Brie said softly. If you want. Kwanwoo crossed the space in 3 steps. Pulled them both into his arms, careful of his injured shoulder. They stood there, a broken waitress, a dangerous man, and a lonely boy, holding each other like they were the only real thing in the universe. Outside, the city moved on. The Red Dragon Syndicate continued its business. Enemies plotted in shadows. But inside this moment, they were just a family. Imperfect. Complicated. Built from trauma and kindness and promises kept. But real. Finally, beautifully real. Welcome home, Kwanwoo whispered against Brie's hair. My queen. Did Brie make the right choice? Could you love someone from a dangerous world? What would Brie and Kwanwoo name their future baby? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want a part 2 showing their wedding and the rival clan's revenge, comment more right now.